I grew up in the California dairy industry, did my undergrad work out there, but then came east to Cornell for my master's degree in nutrition and reproduction. Spent about 8 years in academia, teaching and extension work, and then have been in the commercial feed business for about 10 years, and then started a independent consulting group here in the Northeast a little over 7 years ago. And myself and 5 others here in the Northeast group, feeding cows, doing herd management consulting work in New York, Pennsylvania, and all of New England. One of my key focuses in my whole consulting work is transition cows, having a cow come through the calving period and early lactation period, healthy and metabolic problem-free as possible, is the key to the rest of the lactation. So it's a huge focus of what I do day in and day out with the clients that I work with and the nutrition work that I do for my clients. Over the last few years, I have become a big believer in what we call the high fiber, low energy approach to dry cow and prefresh diets, getting a lot of bulk into the diets, whether it be a grass hay or a straw, along with corn silage and whatever grains we need to supplement with beyond those two. Definitely work with clients on producing, whether it be straw or grass hay that we might be using to either purchase or produce those on the farm that are very low potassium. To me, that's one of the key minerals that we focused in on for our dry cow programs, trying to get potassium down to manageable levels. So those would be the key things, forage-wise, feed-wise, and then looking at mineral nutrition and metabolizable protein nutrition to go along with that high fiber, low energy density approach. I paid attention to my DCAD levels for quite a few years. I would say, though, in the last going on 3 years now, I have probably taken more of a focus on lowering my DCAD levels. In some cases, going to a true negative DCAD program. In other cases, just taking it down to a lower level, basically down around 0, versus what I had been doing in the past years. For me, it's become a herd by herd decision how low we end up going on our DCAD levels. Currently, I have 2 of my clients that I would truly call negative DCAD. And those were specific situations that we just weren't getting the results from a traditional DCAD program that I was running in other herds. Metabolics were not where they needed or we want them to be, and finally made the decision to go very negative. Been a very positive experience at both of those herds. Very quick turnarounds in terms of fresh cow performance and metabolic issues. I've used BIO-CHLOR for a number of years. Again, for many years there, I wasn't taking them to true anionic levels. I kind of used it as a product to get me down to levels that I, in most herds, was feeling pretty comfortable with. Fresh cow performance was good. But since I have begun to drop anionic levels to a greater degree, BIO-CHLOR has been a very easy product to work with. The chloride level takes things down very rapidly. I can make the anionic changes that I'm looking for very easily with it. And the other thing is it brings in a fair amount of protein that I think has some benefits relative to rumen function and microbial protein production, and just when I look at the cost benefit, having both formulated there for the anionics and the protein aspect of it, it's a product that seems to fit in very easily in a lot of diets I work with. I guess the other thing I'd say there is it's a product that I've used for titration, maybe be it half a pound and then go to 6/10 of a pound or 3/4 of a pound, or maybe it takes a pound. Every herd is going to be different relative to the forages that we're working with, and something like BIO-CHLOR is a product that I find very user-friendly in terms of titrating the diet to where I want that DCAD level to end up at. The single biggest management aspect has been to not be overcrowding our prefresh and fresh cow groups. I'm a big believer, both from research data that I've seen and just farm experience that I've seen, that if we can keep these pens at 90% or below in terms of cows to stalls, we do much better. I think in a lot of cases it's maybe not cows to stalls, it's pump space. So the whole overcrowding issue and trying to get clients to understand that that can have a huge impact is probably the single biggest management strategy that we've really focused on here in the last particularly 2 to 3 years. We are into some larger herd situations where we are splitting our 2-year-olds and mature cows for our pre-fresh programs, and then in some cases carrying that through to the fresh cow program, but that tends to just be more of a large herd management style just because of group sizes and all. But as I work with some of my larger herd clients, we're trying to split those younger cows from the older cows. I just find that there's no right or correct dry cow program across all herds. It really becomes farm specific. The forages that we're dealing with on each farm, we've really got to tailor how that pre-fresh diet is going to look relative to the forages that we have available. I'd say that my clients are very accepting that not that cost doesn't need to be watched and monitored, but if we're putting a few more cents or dollars into those cows during the pre-fresh period, but we're having results relative to low incidences of metabolic disorders and fast startups as cows come fresh, they realize the value in investing in those dry cows, pre-fresh cows. Once they become fresh and start to milk, and then I think it carries over into reproductive performance also as we get out in 50, 60, 70 days. We're looking to get those cows bred back. So it's a constant conversation with the clients that, we're going to spend maybe a few more dollars in some cases on these dry cow programs, but when they see the results, they realize that it's they look at it as much more of an investment rather than a cost to the operation.